Hey guys, so for some of you who have been subscribed to me, it's been checking out my videos, thanks. For anyone, maybe this is the first video you're watching. My most recent video I just uploaded was actually a lot of just over 450 original Nintendo games, all with their original boxes, instruction manuals, black dust sleeves, everything. It was a really good lot. Well, you can actually see some of it right here to the right of me. Or, as I mentioned, I have a video uploaded you can go check out. But aside from that, the same seller who unfortunately had to part ways with those contacted me about a month ago, letting me know he has some more that he was actually getting rid of. So he wanted to give me first dibs at it, just to see if I was interested, and also that way all the games would be with one person instead of scattered all out. So I'm like, go ahead, send me a list. We'll see what you got, and I'll go from there. So he sent me the list. I was definitely interested, and I went ahead and went through with the purchase. And then that's what this video is going to be today. So today, I believe it's just over 30 games here, maybe 32, somewhere around that range. You're going to notice, I'm going to go through some of the more random titles at first, but eventually, a little bit later into the video, you're going to notice a trend with the games that are in this lot. But let's go ahead and start. First of all, you got the complete in box. By the way, all these games are complete in box. I'm not going to mention that every time, but you have Adventure Island 1. Go from there. You also have the second game. And then, to complete the trilogy for the original Nintendo, you have the third game as well. I've heard nothing but good things about these, but I've personally not played them. So at one point, I'm definitely going to have to throw those in and give it a try. This next one, however, this is Joe and Mac. This one was actually supposed to be included with the original lot, but unfortunately the seller couldn't find it. So this time around, when he was actually grabbing these, he found that this fell between his shelving, and he's like, I'm going to include it in the box for you, send it your way. Joe and Mac is actually a personal childhood favorite of mine. Not necessarily the original Nintendo version. I've still yet to play this version, but the Super Nintendo version, both 1 and 2, are games that I played heavily as a child, and they're really fun still to this day. So eventually I'm going to have to throw in the original Nintendo version to kind of see some of the differences and what to expect. The next two are really big series. You have the Legend of Zelda. This one actually has an original cellophane and plastic around it. It's not factory sealed, it has an opening at the top so you can gain access to the cart, but you have your maps and everything that was included with this. You also have the second one. Not a really big one for, in the series in the sense of like nostalgia. I don't want to say nostalgia, but not too many people enjoy this one. The whole side-scrolling view kind of threw people off. This is actually the one I played as a kid. I still don't believe I tried the original one. I would hope I have, but sometimes you think you have and you haven't. We're going to go from The Legend of Zelda, which is obviously a big one, to Metroid for original Nintendo. I believe the silver box is the original release. This one is fun. This one had obviously, spoiler alert obviously, but and you find out you're a female at the end of the game, which is a big. Later on they did the classic series, so I also have the Metroid of the classic series. This would essentially be the player's choice of that era. We're going to go ahead, and then this is kind of where I mentioned there's kind of a trend coming up here. The trend you're going to notice is there's going to be a lot of silver box games. So you have the Adventures of Bayou Billy. Everyone pokes fun at this one. I always hear Konami pretty much made gold for the original Nintendo, unless you touch this one. Blades of Steel, I heard this was actually really big in the arcades, and I'm sure this was a great port as well. And then you have Castlevania, which is an interesting one as well. I actually just recently watched a video, and it was kind of interesting because I guess still to this day, they really don't know who worked on this game. Back in the day, they would put like fake names in the credits and stuff like that because they were afraid competitors would steal their developers. So when you see the actual credits to this game, it pokes fun at like Bram Stoker, Dracula, stuff like that, but it doesn't actually give you any of the original people who worked on this. You went from there to Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. This one says Castlevania was a cake walk compared to this bloody curse. I just recently tried to play Castlevania, and man, I was pretty frustrated, so I can't imagine I'm going to be too happy playing that one. And then you go ahead and finish off the Castlevania series with the original Nintendo. So if you notice to this point with all the silver box one, there's kind of a trend. I actually acquired the complete Konami NTSC format silver box collection for the original Nintendo. I know in Europe, I just recently looked into this, but I know Europe had a couple different silver box ones, but this is just an NTSC format for America. Then you have Double Dribble, The Goonies 2. I believe there's actually a backstory to this. I know there's Goonies 2, but if you look, there's not a Goonies 1. I just recently saw there was a website called Time Walk Games, which unfortunately isn't around anymore, but they made reproductions and stuff like that, and they had a Goonies 1 that they sold, so I don't know if that was something that was made and just never released here to America, or maybe it was an arcade port, etc. I'm not quite sure. The next one it's kind of faded away. I haven't really seen any new Gradius games, but this was obviously big for its time. This is actually the first game from Konami to include the infamous up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, select, start code, the famous Contra code. That obviously, this is the first game to have it, but Contra is where everyone knows it from. It's what made it big. I believe that code is really big, still to this day. Last time I checked, it was over like 130 games that included that, and then someone told me recently that they just looked and it was over 150. So I'm really happy to see that people are still using that code still to this day. The next one's Jackal. There was actually a coworker of mine. He said this one was personally a childhood favorite for him. In this game, you have 2 Humvees, and it's kind of like an army game. You're going to not capture. You're trying to recapture some POWs to save them and bring them back home. You have 2 shooting methods. You have one where it just shoots straight up, so no matter what direction your vehicle is facing, it's going to go up. And then you have the one that shoots a bomb, depending on what direction your vehicle is facing. The game is actually really fun, but I've yet to beat the second stage. Nintendo games are notorious for being very difficult. It was one great way to prolong the game life because the memory, obviously, they couldn't make really, really long games in a lot of cases. Next one's Jack Nicholson Golf. I'm sure there's some fans out there. I've personally never even looked at gameplay for it or heard anything about it. You have King's Quest V. Laser Invasion. I'm actually wasn't too familiar with the whole silver box collection prior to purchasing this, so there's a lot of these games I've never even heard of, like Laser Invasion to be one of them, or Life Force is actually another game that I don't believe I've heard of this, but it actually looks really fun. You have the Lone Ranger. You have Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. You have Russian Attack. Stinger. And then Super C. This is one I actually watched Mike Matei and James from Angry Video Game Nerd do a playthrough of. It looked really fun, so I'm really happy to throw this in my collection. I actually went ahead and threw this in when I had a friend over and we played some co-op on it. And we both failed miserably at even beating the first stage. I tried the infamous code I just mentioned a moment ago, but I don't believe it works for this game. I don't know if it was included this. I looked online and I saw there was a code for 10 lives, and I couldn't even get that to work, so I tried and failed miserably multiple times with my 3 lives to beat the first stage. This is actually probably my favorite original Nintendo game. You have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Manhattan Project. This is a game I played heavily as a child, and I'm very, very happy to have a complete in-box copy now. We're going to go ahead and you have the Top Gun. This is actually another one I played as a child as well. I know I had the multiplayer mode in there, which wasn't the funnest, but it was something different. You had Top Gun's Second Mission. I don't believe I played this one. I know I played the first one, but I don't think I've played this one. Or maybe I could be mixing them up. Maybe if the first one didn't have a two-player mode, maybe I played this one. But I believe I played the first one. You have Track and Field, which is, you know, another big one. The Power Pad is awesome. You have Track and Field 2. Obviously, it was big enough to span a sequel. And then you have Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. Actually, this one's actually pretty interesting because I like how the box actually opens. It doesn't open like an normal original Nintendo game where you open it from the top. It has a slide up cover which pulls right off. And inside of this, you know, not only do you have the manual, but you have an encyclopedia to help you with the game. It's pretty intense. And it's pretty awesome that people actually kept this complete over all these years. So this is actually, I know if you personally have the Silver Box collection, you're kind of saying, wait a minute, where's Contra? So I actually do have the original Contra as well, which would complete it. But when I got this game, it was actually with the original lot. When I was buying this off the guy, I asked him if he had just the box and manual for this game, because I had a loose copy, and if so, would he throw it into the lot? And the guy's like, sure, I can do that. So at that point, I kind of knew he had some other games, but I wasn't sure what. But I was really happy to get this. Upon getting the rest of the games at a later date, it then clicked to me that I realized I took one of the games away from him that actually completed his set of Silver Box Konami games. So it's cool that all of his allies, all of his friends got to rejoin him. And I'm just happy to have this as well to complete the set. But this is actually really cool. I'm really happy to have these. Konami made a lot of great games back then. Some of these I'm obviously experiencing for the first time, so I want to try the Adventure Island, which isn't Konami, but I want to play some of the other Castlevania games. Contra is obviously fun, but it's very difficult. And then you have some of the other ones that we mentioned, like the Life Force, that I'm sure will be fun. But if you guys have any suggestions on any specific Konami games that might just get overlooked, but are really fun and popular games, let me know. Leave some comments, like this video, all that great jazz. But I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you watching my video today. Thanks, guys.